Welcome back to Universal Journey Talk, Part 2 of Episode 8.
She can't be. I'm sure she's not. I gotta give her the benefit. I don't think she's stupid. She
No,
she probably was talented and gifted enough to take that job. You
yeah,
know what I mean? And I'm sure before that incident, why would anyone say that she doesn't do a good job or not? I don't know what the history is. You know what I mean?
yeah,
My thing is, there's something there with this fear frequency that's showing that even a cop that practices and knows how to implement this in a real life situation probably better than we would. You know what I mean? This is what they do. That's what, you know what I mean. But in this fear mode frequency that's been going on, you could tell the cops who have the guns, they're more afraid of you than you are of them. You see? That's how, like,
yeah,
that shows you, in a sense, that's how much fear is going on. You can see it in a situation. It could be like one guy, it could be like you see like one black guy, right, and 4 or 5 cops, all with guns, and the black guy clearly doesn't even have a gun. But if he makes any move, bam, 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 bam. You know what I mean? It's like that. So it'd be very dismissive to say, oh, you know, those cops, they're just in the wrong. They just had it out and they don't like black people, they're racist. No, it's almost like there's got to be more than that. You know what I mean? We can't always use that excuse for every cop. I mean,
yeah.
no. I mean, there's a lot of good cops out there, man.
Well,
Yes, just there's a bad apple in many bunch. You know. So
right.
what is going on? I'm just saying, like, just out of curiosity, in some ways, to look into the bigger picture, like, what is going on? You know, like,
Yeah,
and I'm sure, you know, there's many reasons for it. Like, you know, obviously in time we'll go into it. Like the Book of Revelations and goes in. The Bible talks about it. Many other, you know, things. Climax ain't.
right. So one of the things, and once again, you know, there's like you're saying, there's plenty of variables, but you know, and then when you're saying about the fear thing, about the fear energy and stuff, that also makes me, it does lead me to believe, like, now what if this will never be able to be proven, but you know, a lot of the issues with 5G, you know, helping to maybe interfere with people's proper way of response, the vibrations that you're getting from it. Once again, hard to prove, because you know there's always going to be the other side that you know that's you know supports 5G and blah blah blah. But for people that are of, you know, higher consciousness, we're always just trying to keep in mind all the other elements that your, you know, average everyday person may be like, 5G, whatever. Well, we have to look at everything from every direction, not only just, you know, physically, but mentally and spiritually. All those things affect our type of, you know, reality and how we respond to things. So, I mean, who knows? Now, I'm just throwing that out there, but, you know, that could be, you know, another small part of it. You know what I mean?
Yes, it's a theory. You know what I mean?
It's a thought, you know?
Yeah, definitely can make sense sometimes.
Yeah. But I just want to say, look, you know, when it comes to the, like the riots and stuff, once again, I get it. You know what I mean? It makes you angry. You want some sense of, you know, like something to happen. You want to make a statement, but I still kind of feel like, all right, there's a way to make a statement that's productive, and then there's a way to make it a statement that's destructive, you know? And I understand, you know, the anger and wanting to get, you know, like violent and stuff, but the bottom line is, okay, like, look, for the people that we're making a stand out in the streets or whatever and stuff, I get that, you know, screaming and yelling because, you know, you're angry, I get that. But the one thing I just can never understand is when you get the ones that then they start, you know, trashing their own town, they start trashing stores that had nothing to do with it. These are innocent people just like you that may be just as angry also. And then you go trashing their stores and then looting, so now you can get free stuff. Like, to me, that's also kind of like exploiting and taking advantage of someone's death so that way you can get some free stuff. You know what I mean? Now, once again, you know, I'm not saying that that's how everyone is, but I hate to see when stuff like that happens, when someone dies and then other people kind of take advantage of it. You know, like, oh yeah, we're angry too. Hey, let's get some free stuff. Now, for the other people that, you know, were out there and trying to make a statement and stuff, I still kind of think to myself, you know, like the way that I handle things, I try to once again think things out and see what the outcome is first. If you're gonna like riot, I would almost think if you're gonna, go out into the streets, wait till you see what the verdict is. That to me makes more sense, because then now if the cop gets off, no charges and blah blah blah, and they drop or whatever that, now you have a real right, in my opinion, to really stand up, make a statement or whatever. But to almost like riot the second that it happens, well, I mean, there's nothing that the cops can do. It happened. They were dealing with it in real time. You know what I mean? Like give the cops a second too. I mean, they are, they have to follow certain protocols. You're not just going to get instant justice or whatever. It has to go through due process. But so that was just a side thing. Oh, and you know what? Like, I hear a lot of the rhetoric is like, we need change. We need change. And yeah, I fully support that. Of course, with everything that's been happening, we do need some form of change. I do agree with that. But my thing is there are some changes that have been happening for the better, but sometimes maybe we just take it for granted. Like I just mentioned before about when that stuff happened to me when I was 17. Let's say if I did struggle a little bit or whatever happened, and then they end up shooting me. For the most part, they're gonna, the story will end up being that they'll say whatever happened, and they felt the need to fire on me or something like that. Now, think about this: we've got body cams now for two reasons on cops. It helps to for the cop to be able to justify what they did, and you can see it all in real time or whatever. And it also helps to keep the cops in check. So when they do things wrong, now imagine the same exact thing with Daunte Wright. Now here it is, we see exactly what happened. Yes, he did resist arrest, but unfortunately he was fatally shot, unwarranted, and had there been no body camera on the cops, there's a good chance that the story would have been much different. Oh, he struggled, blah, 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 things happened, and then they were forced to fire on him. That would probably have been the spin on it, and Daunte would maybe never get any justice. So just the fact that now that a lot of cops now have body cams, that's a change that hasn't been that long ago, where cops are now being held to a standard that everything that they do is also being recorded and monitored. So they can't just be, as crooked. I mean, as crooked. There's still going to be crookedness, but I think that that's one good thing that we have now. That we didn't have too long ago. I mean, either way, it's still a tragedy, but at least there can't be any they can't lie about it. So.
You got a lot of things going on. Hey, you got shooting, you got people getting killed. And regardless of rather who gets justice and not, you know what I mean? Or what was an injustice and what wasn't, you know what I mean? It still doesn't bring back the dead. These people that died, that's the first issue, regardless. Now, whether the rioting is good or bad, or who's rioting for what reasons, and if they're just doing it for gifts and doing it, like, people do a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? But I know all this fear, this anger, it's you can see it. It's eminent that the world is coming to a climax of some sort. And we hear about it, and the ancients speak about it. The Bible, and many teach. Kind of like prophecy in some form, you know what I mean? And I like to say, I think before things get better, they may look worse, and I think we're seeing it. But even like if on a grander scale, if we can maybe see a bigger picture, hopefully that will be the big change. So none of this, it doesn't matter. Rather, there's this time we got cameras on them, or we got this. But in the end, we need to change. We have to change ourselves. It doesn't matter how much equipment you got, or the next time we can get put a cop in jail, or get them fired, or some injustice. But they're still human. Like these people are still your brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? That's the reality. And you know, when after that cop did what they did, whatever, if you jump into their lives and we don't know what's going on, what they're going through, and what, you know what I mean? Who knows what's going on? What the training is in these in some of these places or facilities and where you go, like so, because clearly, if we're talking about the police, it's eminent that there's a lot of just poor judgment in many scenarios where it's almost like, is this becoming an epidemic of some sort? Is this an actual disease? You see what I'm saying? So there's something that we really have to change. We need to change of heart. We need to really get more conscious, open-minded, and really understand if we're gonna start judging, understand what actually is right and what actually is wrong. What is actually humane and what isn't. I think individuals actually don't know the difference. A policeman shows up, you shouldn't be afraid. There's something wrong there. They're to protect and to serve you. So it'd be weird to be afraid of a person in uniform. But you see how automatically the intimidation and many things, and how this starts going on, and it's just this quest of power and more ego, and then eventually becomes a severe imbalance and judgment that it's a bad cocktail after a while between ego, power, and judgment. And it just makes more drama. It makes that drama wheel go, 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 go. And then it sends a ripple effect, and then eventually you can see the whole world change. And that's what we've been to this whole last year. You see it from all the shootings and the injustice, And it's evident. It's like clearly, like, I mean, things are getting pretty bad when when the whole world is feeling it, from the injustice. Everybody in all races and coming together in many ways, and in such good ways, to fight this. You know what I mean? And then that's really good. And people are awake. They can see it now. It's clear. You know what I mean? Things are clear. So even though it's bad times and to say, but it's because at least things are becoming more. We're seeing it, and people are understanding, they're comprehending what's really going on, and things really have to change, and people are actually caring more. So there is a positive side, because at least people know, look, this is reality. It's not a joke anymore. It'd be like, if we're saying, oh, global warming, or rather this, or rather you believe in global warming, but eventually, whatever, eventually you will care. So I just want to say, hey, people, we need to wake up. It's well, we already been awake. We just been in denial, So, and where denial is, that's somewhere in Egypt. Bad one. Bad.
Didn't. All right, so basically, I think the only other thing that I was just I just wanted to state is that, once again, we are in control of our own minds, our heart, our feeling, our vibrations, our level of consciousness, and the things outside affect us, but we can once again use them to how do we use what happens around us to affect us? Meaning like, right now, yes, there's a lot of anger, a lot of back and forth. People are fighting over things and whatnot and stuff. And again, it's understandable. But a lot of that, it's emotion, and it's also low-level vibrations that are being pushed through the atmosphere. And then what do we do? Do we then continue it on to other people? Like, yeah, man, yeah, something, and then perpetuate the negativity, or do we try to have more of the positive, not the positive, the higher conscious perspective, where you go, all right, this is tragic, but what can we learn from this, and how can we try to come up with better ways for people to hopefully not to get into situations like this from either the cops' perspective or the people that were the victims here. And then just in general in life, because I know like there's I'm sure there's a lot of people now they're on the phones, they're typing a lot of things on social media and stuff, and a lot of times what they're doing is they're feeding into the anger, feeding into the negative energy, or you can be one that's trying to say things and do things that have a constructiveness, that are still trying to bring people together. Like, a little bit on the Black Lives Matter thing. Thanks for watching this segment of the full episode to be posted Sunday afternoon. Much more to be discussed in the next part, so give this video a like, leave your comments for us to reply to in future episodes, and stay notified by hitting the subscribe button.